Hi, I had a request to do some ankle holster type pistols. So I'm doing the tradition Buckhunter Pro. No, this is not going to fit in your ankle holster. Not even close. I can't open it to see if it's loaded or not because this is a front loading black powder. This is called an inline black powder, which these are, of the black powders, these are regulated. So you need to do a background check in order to own one of these, just like a regular firearm. It's called Inline because instead of having a percussion cap on the top, it's put directly behind the charge. Why they regulate these is beyond me. I have no clue. I'm sure some lawyer, anti-gun guy, came up with some sort of reason that sounds half believable to some half-witted jurist. But hey, that's a whole nother story. What we're going to do is I'm going to take this to the workbench so we can take a little closer look at it, how it works, and what you can use it for. So, without any further ado, let's get to the workbench. So here we are at the workbench with the Traditions Buckhunter Pro In-Line Pistol. And you can see this is one big mother, okay? It's got a removable flash guard, and it's, you can actually see down into, well, you may not be able to see down into it, but you can actually see with the light I have here, I can actually look down and completely see this barrel, and it's clear. Now, let me explain what makes this black powder different than a lot of the others. Most of them have a hammer that's on the side, you put a percussion cap on there, or muzzle, a muzzle loader primer on here, or it's on, or a flintlock that flashes a pan. But what this has, it's called Inline. It's directly behind it. So it operates very much like a modern pistol cartridge, except the cartridge is permanent. It's inside your barrel. And what you're going to do, let me put this back on here. Actually, this comes off easily, so you could probably make it easier to use your ramrod. Okay? So the way this works is you have, instead of powder, you have these little charges. See what that looks like? So I'm going to hold this off like that so you can see it. It's a little charge. It's got to hold down the center of it. It looks like a squared off donut. And there's two in here per row. There is a chart, and an instruction guide on cleaning, and every time you need to clean the bore after you shoot it, 777, a little water, a cleaning rod, and a few cleaning patches. That's all you need before and after cleaning the 777. So basically, this is 777 is the name of this powder. So they're saying you should clean it with just water, a little soapy water. These are the caps that it uses. That's the front of the cap, and that's the back of the cap. And this just gets pushed right onto that little tube there, which we'll show you up close in a minute. Here is another propellant. This is called 50-50, and that's what this gun is. It's a 50 caliber, and it's 50 grains. That's why it's 50-50. 50 caliber, 50 grains. Okay, let's move this off to the side so I don't blow up. And it has a pretty elaborate sight system on here. If I can get this lined up for you. Let's see if I can get that lined up. Well, there you go. Front sight, rear sight. And you can see it is a huge hammer. And you can see how nicely it falls. Now, that's the tube that's on the back of it. Let's see if I can get a closer view of that. So that's the tube that's on the back of it that little primer gets pushed onto. And the seal gets broken, it gets pushed into that. Here's your safety so the trigger won't fire. So you cock the hammer, you throw the safety on, and the safety works. You throw the safety off, and the hammer drops. And there's not much to this gun. I mean, you take one or two of those, you take one of those pieces, you pop it in the front, you push down, you push it down, and then what you shoot out of it are what they call sabots. Now these are sabots, they're both 50 caliber, but the color determines, it gives you weight. And you can also shoot, you can make like a 44 shoot out of a 50 or a 45 shoot out of a 50 because the sabot is what grabs the barrel. So that's what this would be. You put this on here like that, and you take this and that goes over the front of the bullet and you push it in, which I'm not going to do. But that's the sabot. These are hunting rounds. These have the polymer tips, which are extremely deadly, but they do blow apart a lot of the meat on the animal. So I'm not a big fan of them for hunting, but for blowing up water buckets and soda bottles filled with soda, these do a great job. Okay, so that's basically all you got to do to clean it. First, we're going to remove our rod. We're going to take off our compensator, and we're left with a little bit of a smaller gun and easier gun to work with. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take off the handguard. And then you just use a regular screwdriver and you remove the screw. You remove that screw, and then with an Allen key you just undo this Allen key right here. And this whole piece just pops right out. If it doesn't pop out, you just put a punch on this side to pop it out. And then, there, that came out, and then this pulls apart. And that is how you remove the barrel. So you can change out the barrels. You could put different lengths on here. If you had to open this flat back here, and that's how you would take this apart if you needed to change or put a new fitting on your, this is what's called a nipple. So you can unscrew the nipple and you can take it out. You can also unscrew the back of this like this. See how this totally unscrews? There you go. And now you can actually clean the back of this. They're saying all you need to use is soap and water to clean the back of this. And as far as the barrel, now you can see right through. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, there you go. You can see the red on the other side. I'll put a white cloth underneath it, so let's see if I can reflect some light. There you go. So now you can actually see right down the barrel. And if you notice, it's just a hole. That's what barrels are made out of. It's a hole surrounded by metal. And that's how they make a barrel. They first build a hole and they put metal around it. And you know I'm only kidding, but that you can actually see the rifling in there. Very nice. So there you go. That's how you take this apart and clean it. I'm just going to clean this off. And I'm not going to totally wipe this off because this should be greased, and I don't have grease with me. I have to do that in the shop. Now to put it back together again, you just put this in here, nice and easy. Don't want to cross thread it. Screw it all the way in. Zip, zip, fast forward. Ooh. There, just finger tight. Then we put this in here like that, and we just slide this right on, just like that. Now we're going to take this, and the way this works is this: when you tighten the screw, it pulls this up, and this expands. It's an expansion nut. You see that? It's an expansion nut. So when this goes this way, see how that's like a cone? As the cone gets pulled in, this expands. So all you have to do is drop it in. make sure it's seated all the way. Give this a couple of twists just to make sure that it's seated properly and the barrel's straight. Then we can tighten this up. If it just spins, okay, so I had to push the piece a little bit from the other side. You can see what I did is I put this in here and I pushed that forward because it wouldn't grab. It was just spinning in there. So when I pulled it up against the metal, it tightened, and that's what you would do. I'm only making this tight enough where I push it and there's a decent amount of resistance. It's not going to loosen up. Take this screw, put it in the bottom. Tighten that up. And we'll just put this back in. There we go. The sabots, the powder, the gun, the flash suppressor. So this is a 50 caliber 1-32 and a quarter by, and it's got a 14 3/4 inch barrel on this puppy. Okay, so this is a pretty big gun. It's cannot use smokeless powder in here. These powders are basically, you can use up to 2 of these loads in this gun, depending on what you want to do. If I get a chance, I'll take it out and shoot it and resubmit a video on shooting this thing. But you know, I'm going to the hospital this Tuesday. Some people saw it on one of my posts that I was going in for a procedure. If I don't come out, you may never even get to see this video. But if I do come out, I'll go out and shoot this puppy and do another video. We'll see. In the meantime, this is Alan from Alan's Firearms saying thanks for joining me. Till next time. Thanks for joining me on another strange and nifty firearm. This is Alan with Alan's Firearms saying please like and subscribe, and until next time.